podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let show recaps, predictions, sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I'm live. We're back for your SmackDown recap, and all I can say is, oh my God. Predictable Paul is trying to swerve the IWC. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a terrible show, but I don't know. I think that he's trying to do a little bit too much. Obviously, I seen the reports earlier that the ticket sales are like tanking still for WrestleMania. So I don't know. Definitely a last minute change on Kiana James, throwing her in, which I know she was in for a push, but I mean, separating Charlotte and Alexa in the chamber like that, I don't know. Just doesn't really feel like they're making sense. It feels like he's in panic mode. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Io Sky and them drop the titles next week. It just, I don't know. I mean, Jade come out there before Charlotte's match, so I don't know. It looked like a pretty clear direction on where they were going. But yeah, they put Kiana James into the chamber. I'm not really for that decision. I mean, I think she's great. I've been raving about her for weeks, but she isn't winning the damn chamber. So like, I don't know. Is Io even going to qualify now? Because I was pretty dead set that Charlotte was going to qualify. So kind of leads me to believe that, like, I don't know. We'll see what happens on Raw Monday. Liv's supposed to pick her opponent. She's not picking Jade. I just can't see it. But if Raquel gets in there, then in the chamber, I don't know. That's why I was thinking they may hold off. That's why I put a post out. I said I'm a little bit worried about Liv's reluctancy to pick an opponent. Just because they could pivot and have Raquel win the chamber and hurry up and pick Stephanie, and then obviously set up a triple threat at WrestleMania with Raquel, Liv, and Stephanie. I don't know. I think they're in panic mode at this point. To sell tickets. I just really do. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Rhea and Io drop the tag titles next week. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rhea doesn't win the chamber, which there hasn't been much build. Because stare down with her and Jade, but I don't know. Predictable Paul strikes again. So, and then the ending of SmackDown tonight, like, obviously it was reported like several different places, Randy Orton and Aleister Black at WrestleMania, which I'm glad that didn't come to fruition. Which the match was good. It was in the main event tonight, but it's not a WrestleMania match. But now it's making it. I don't know. I really don't know. It seemed to be from the beginning. It seemed to look like they were headed towards a triple threat with Jacob, because obviously Jacob wants a piece of Drew, but the way they ended it, kind of a cliffhanger. Drew come out there and cost Randy as well, so could we be headed for a fatal four-way? I mean, I don't know. Could be some wonky finish at the chamber and we get a fatal four-way at WrestleMania. I'm sure they read everything online, all the whining and stuff about Cody Drew, which I didn't particularly want to see them just run it back again. I've been heavily favoring the triple threat. If you add another person to it, I just think it's a little bit overkill. But we'll get into it. Welcome to the Smackdown recap live on the EVP show. Obviously, if you guys wasn't able to join me last night, was the debut of the TNA recap show. I'll be back next Thursday for that. But before we get into the Smackdown for tonight, tomorrow on the East Coast in about 25 minutes, it's going to be midnight. So, let's just say we got 1 week. 1 week left in the raffle, put on by After Sun Podcast, for the Classic WWF Intercontinental Championship belt. Obviously, you want to scan that QR code, and I'm gonna take my banner down when I play his video, because I can't really see it. Put it back up, but I'm gonna play After Sun Podcast. You have to scan the QR code. Obviously, send the $15 via PayPal, and then you are going to make sure you give a subscription to After Sun Podcast, Talk About Wrestling Podcast, and also to After the EVP show. EVP show, Talk About Wrestling Podcast, and After Sun Podcast. Once you've done all three of those subscriptions, and you scan the QR codes and the $15, you're entered into that raffle. With the winner being drawn on March the 1st, the day after Elimination Chamber on After the Slam Podcast show. So, here's the video about After the Slam Podcast, and I'll pull up the picture again with the QR code. I wanted to take my banner down because I don't think you can really see his QR code really good from the video. So, here's the video on the raffle.
Hey guys, it's me, Bodacious Albert from the After the Slime podcast, and today we are announcing big news. For the first time in After the Slime history, we are going to do our first raffle giveaway. After the Slime podcast and the DWE, we're giving away our first championship belt. It's easy to enter. All you gotta do is scan that QR code and pay $15 to enter the raffle. And guess what? It's simple. If every $15 you put in, it's an extra raffle and a better spot for you to win. And what am I talking about? We are giving away the classic Intercontinental Championship. This title is going to be given away to a lucky winner. All you got to do is scan that QR code and pay that $15. Imagine winning a championship belt for only $15. But there's also a catch. You need to subscribe to all of the DWE members' YouTube channels. After the Slam, Talk It Up, and the EVP show. So get going. Get a chance to win an IC championship belt. Shipped straight to your door. Only $15. It's all in your hands. The funds of this contest will go on to buying a new championship belt every single month, so we can do a giveaway. So don't miss it. Become the Intercontinental Champion of the IWC. For more info, look at the description below and you can see all the details there. Become the Intercontinental Champion.
All right. So here we go. Let me take the banner back off. So it's a $15 raffle to win the Classic WWF Classic Intercontinental Championship belt. How to enter? Obviously, if you heard in the video. Sorry, I'm trying to share my live on X because obviously, like, you have to share your live now. So, how to enter? Subscribe to After the Sun Podcast, Talk About Wrestling Podcast, and the EVP show. Send $15 via PayPal for one raffle entry. Each $15 is one entry. More entries is a better chance to win. Winner is going to be announced live on March the 1st on After the Slam Podcast. And it ends on it's going to end on February 28th and going to be drawn on March 1st. Here is the Here is the QR code. It's blowing up. So, all right, guys. So let's get started on the SmackDown recap. Hopefully some people come in. It's late. It's always late, but I don't know. So many different stories I think they tried to tell tonight with SmackDown. I don't know. I just think that TKO and Triple H is in panic mode right now. Just how they booked the show, but we'll see. So this is the last week that they're going to be on Sci-Fi. Next week they return back to USA Network, which is good. Tonight they're from the Amerant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. We're going to see two Elimination Chamber qualifying matches with the WWE United States Champion Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest facing off against each other in the men's Elimination Chamber for the fifth spot. There's one more spot remaining. To see who's going to join Javon Evans, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. So yeah, after Monday, the field's going to be set. And then we're going to see the ruler of Femi. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's a little crazy. He's going to take on Kit Wilson, which wasn't much of a match. And obviously, in the women's elimination chamber, we already have Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Asuka. Who's the fourth person? Somebody just qualified. Who am I missing? Oh, Alexa Bliss. So tonight will be the fifth lady crown to qualify, which will have Charlotte Flair against Kiana James versus Nia Jax. Definitely surprised by the outcome of that, even though I know Kiana's supposed to get a big push. This is a monster push, but unexpected. You know, like I said, they pay attention to everything online, so yeah. We're going to get that. We're also going to see, it was originally scheduled to be Io Sky versus Julia, but it was changed last minute, like I said, like a lot of shit that's happening. Tonight, a lot of the Kiana James match was definitely changed, or well, that definitely wasn't the plan going in. So, yeah. And Randy and Alistair wasn't even advertised. So a lot of changes tonight. But originally Io was supposed to face Julia, and it was just completely scrapped. And they were like, "Oh, well, you know, where's Io?" And then she ended up coming out to help. So, Wild Child Billy says, "Happy for my bud. Just hope Alistair and Selena get world title reigns sooner than later. Good night." Yeah, it was good win for Alistair tonight. Happy that he got the win. I just a little bit concerned on which direction they're going. You know, was that Alistair's WrestleMania match? I'm a little bit concerned because, you know, like I said, it had been reported and everybody had been talking about, you know, with all the vignettes and stuff, that we may get Alistair and Alistair and Randy at WrestleMania, but I mean, I can't possibly see them running it back again. Well, I don't know with Predictable Paul, but we'll see. But tonight we're gonna get Rhea Ripley, going up against the WWE Women's United States Champion, the Beautiful Madness Julia, which I knew that wasn't gonna be a clean finish. And then the Mad Dragon, Ego Dragunov, going up against the MFT Tama Tonga, who's been on quite a roll. And then obviously the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, will kick off the show. So the show opens up with commentary welcoming us as we see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky walking backstage, which everybody was claiming she may be injured because she wasn't in the match, but they just changed the match last minute. So they hate seeing all those rundowns and shit all over X. They're so obsessed with it. It's insane. So we then see Julia and Kiana James outside the arena, and the camera then cuts to Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. We then see Lash Legend and Nia Jax, and then the camera cuts to Damian Priest and R-Truth, and then we also see Carmelo Hayes backstage, and then we get Trick Williams stepping out with the lemon pepper steppers out of the car. And for me, even with Cody, like maybe Cody and Rhea and Trick definitely got the loudest pops tonight. Trick is already super over. That song is like big time. So we take a look at what happened last week in the main event when Cody Rhodes won the men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match by pinning Sami Zayn despite interference from WWE champion Drew McIntyre. So to kick off the show, give you guys a little bit of music for that. So Cody Rhodes' music hits and he makes his way down to the ring. Cody grabs the mic and asks the fans, what do you want to talk about? And before he can get that out of his mouth, we hear the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu's music hit. And I immediately went to Twitter and was like, yep, we're going for a triple threat, which I originally talked about on Scoop probably almost 4 weeks ago. Now, after the main event, I'm a little worried that they may be pivoting to a fatal four-way. I don't know. Like it's like they're trying to make it unpredictable, which is good. I know a lot of fans like that. They're trying to throw people off, but yeah. So Jacob's music hits. He interrupts Cody. Jacob enters the ring to confront Cody. Jacob then tells Cody to keep it 100. Jacob then says, you wouldn't be out here speaking about Elimination Chamber if it wasn't for Drew. Jacob then says he had Cody and Sami beat last week. Jacob then says he was walking out with the W. Jacob then said he knows it and told Cody, you know it. Jacob then says he isn't concerned about Cody. It is about Drew McIntyre. Jacob then tells Drew to bring his punk ass out here. So he didn't come out there for Cody, he come out there for Drew. But Nick Aldis then makes his way out to the ring and he tells Jacob and Cody, because he was standing there, that he gave the WWE Universal Champion Drew McIntyre the night off. Nick then says he didn't want to do it because Drew is a champion. Nick then says with the chamber around the corner and WrestleMania on the horizon, he can't risk anything. Nick then says this is Cody's time, so he tells Jacob this is Cody's time so they can go to his office and discuss getting his hands on Drew. So then Drew McIntyre is way up in the crowd, comes out. Drew then says Cody and Fatu can't keep the champ's name out of their mouths. Drew then appears in a suite, so he's apparently up in one of those suites. Drew then says he appreciates the night off, but he will do what he wants. Drew then says he loves SmackDown so much he bought an entire suite to watch the show. Drew then tells Jacob he heard him run his mouth and he is right here. Drew said something about all gas, no brakes, but in all actuality, you are all bark and no bite. Drew then says, what are you going to do? And then Jacob starts to take off after him. Fatu leaves the ring. He attacks security, trying to stop him. He is trying to get to Drew McIntyre. Nick then tells security to get Drew out of here. He then says he will get Drew out of the building and they can talk. So Nick Aldis was able to actually get Drew to Jacob and get him back to the, towards the back. without Jacob, going up the fans and going up there to that suite and ripping Drew out of that suite. So once Jacob is, to the back, Drew then says the whole damn world is against him because he is the champ. Drew then says they are jealous of him because he's the champ. Drew says they all want to be him because he is the champ. So Cody interrupts and says the world isn't after him because he's the champ. Cody then says they're after him because he's an asshole. Cody music hits, and then Drew raises the title in the air. So from that point, it looks like they're setting up a triple threat. But from the end, I don't know. We then see clips of last week's SmackDown with the MFTs winning their 10-man tag team match from last week, which wasn't a big fan of that from last week. But we then head to the back where Carmelo Hayes, and we get Carmelo Hayes and the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov tells Carmelo that he is the United States champion, he is him, and if he shoots, he doesn't miss. Dragunov then tells Hayes that he will win the qualifying match. He will walk into the Elimination Chamber, and he will walk straight into WrestleMania. Hayes then tells Dragunov that he doesn't need him to tell him how to be him. Hayes then tells Dragunov that he doesn't miss. Dragunov then tells Hayes that he believes in him, but one thing that won't happen is him walking into WrestleMania as United States champion. So then we get a short little cut off over to back to Nick Aldis, and we see the Samoan Werewolf again, Jacob Fatu, tell Nick Aldis he respects him. Nick then asks Fatu how long did he wait to get here. He then says he will give Fatu Drew, but he has to wait. Fatu then says he won't wait much longer, and then Jacob Fatu leaves the arena, which even more looks like a triple threat for WrestleMania. For me personally. So the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, makes his way down to the ring for the first match of the night. It's going to be the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, going one-on-one with the MFT's Tama Tonga. So the match starts off with Ilya hitting a forearm and some chops to Tama. Tama then hits some punches and then chokes Dragunov in the corner. The Dragunov fires back with some headbutts. Tama then hits some chops and an Irish whip that sends Dragunov face first into the turnbuckles. Tama then runs into a knee, and Dragunov hits a jumping boot to Tama Tonga. Dragunov then hits a running knee into the corner. Dragunov then avoids a punch and hits a German suplex. Dragunov then hits a running boot to the head. Tama then drops Dragunov on the top rope. Dragunov gets back into the match, applies the waistlock, but Tama blocks the German suplex. Dragunov then goes for the Constantine special, but Tama hits a drop kick to Dragunov on the rope to send him to the floor. Tama then goes to the floor, and he comes off the ring steps with a flying clothesline. Tama then sends Dragunov back into the ring, and he punches Dragunov. So they're exchanging blows, and Tama ends up hitting an elbow drop to the back. Tama then hits a hard Irish whip that sends Dragunov face first into the turnbuckles. Tama then hits a forearm, and Dragunov also countered with the clothesline. Tama and Dragunov then hit clotheslines at the same time, and both men go down. Dragunov then hits a chop, but Tama fires back with a chop with his arm. They both continue to exchange with slaps and chops. Dragunov then hits a chop to the knee, and he misses a boot to the head. So Tama then hits a flatliner for a near fall, and he sets up for the Tiger Driver, but Dragunov escapes and avoids a clothesline. Dragunov sends Tama to the mat. So Dragunov then goes up top, closer to the rest of the MFTs. Tonga Loa then distracts Dragunov, and Dragunov hits some headbutts to send Tama to the mat. So Dragunov goes up top and hits the back senton. Dragunov then sets up for the Torpedo Moscow, and JC Mateo gets on the apron. Tama Tonga then gets a roll-up for a near fall. So then Tonga Loa gets on the apron again, and Dragunov knocks him off the apron, and then Tama Tonga hits a cutthroat for the 1, 2, 3. So Tama Tonga has been on quite a roll as of late. Tama Tonga defeats the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. Winner of the match is MFT's Tama Tonga. After the match, Solo Sikoa grabs the microphone and says now that MFT has won the WWE's Tag Team Championship, he's coming for everyone. Dragunov then blindsides Sikoa from behind, but MFT quickly outnumber him and take out Matt Cardona when he looks to come. Matt Cardona comes out. They take out Matt Cardona when he looks to save Dragunov. Mateo then sends Cardona crashing into the barricade and beats down also person that come out to help Dragunov, Apollo Crews, with a couple of other members of MFT when Crews looked to help Dragunov and Cardona. Then the lights go out and Uncle Howdy then appears on the big screen and says it is time for Sikoa to show everyone he can stand on his own and the rest of the Wyatt Six flank him. He then says he'll expose Sikoa the next time he's alone in the ring with him and ask if he'll show up. And then Uncle Howdy begins to laugh. So that's setting up for one of the matchups for next week. We're going to see Uncle Howdy going one-on-one with one of the members of the leader of MFT and one half of the tag team champion, Solo Sikoa. So Drew McIntyre is now on the phone, and Nick Aldis shows up. Drew then says he was having some fun. He then says he saw Nick smiling. Nick then talks about how there is chaos because of Drew. Nick then gives Drew points for buying the suite. He then tells Drew to keep testing them and he will show him what to do. Drew then says he is going to leave and he tells Nick to relax. Who is Drew on the phone with? Interesting. So Byron Saxton is now with Randy Orton. Byron asks Drew about the people in the match next Saturday. Randy then says everyone is on edge. He then says we saw what happened with Drew. He then says when it comes to his friend Cody Rhodes, and then we get Zelina Vega interrupting Randy Orton. And she says it is like he predicted this. She then says there is only one road left for you to take. Aleister Black then chimes in and says there was a time when no one would be able to get this close to you because they would experience the worst headache ever. Black then asks, where is that man? He then says, we should poke around in your head. Randy then says the only version he needs to kick is Black's ass is this one. He then says he will talk to Nick Aldis to get a match, and obviously that will be the main event of the evening. So we then see WWE Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion Jade Cargill walking in the backstage area. But now Byron Saxton is backstage with Lash Legend and Nia Jax. They then correct him about their team name. Nia says this is the busiest time of the year, and she has her match for the Chamber. And next week, they will have a tag title match next week. So next week, it is official. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley will defend the the Women's Tag Team Championship against Nia Jax and the Bougie Bully Lash Legend. Byron then mentions the tag title match next week. Lash then says they are coming for it all. She then says if you have the slightest doubt whether they'll run the division, you will see at WrestleMania. So then there's a storm coming in. Jade Cargill's music hits. She makes her way down to the ring. Jade grabs the mic and she starts off by saying she is not going to tell you again. Jade then says she defends the title on her time. Jade then says Jordan tried her best, but her best wasn't good enough. Jade then says everybody is so bold backstage and so loud online. But when you step to her, you are quiet. Jade then tells Liv that she will be making her decision on Monday in Atlanta at Raw. Jade then says she resides there. She from there. So she will be there to hear her decision. So I guess Jade Cargill will be present to hear Liv Morgan's decision. Jade then says she runs to the option. She runs to all the options for the Elimination Chamber. Jade then says after WrestleMania, she will be the champion because she's still that, you know what. Jade is tired of waiting for an answer from Liv. So, who will Liv Morgan pick? Tune into Raw Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. I have a feeling she's picking Stephanie, but with the way shit's been going, you just never know. We'll see. Jade Cargill has some more. So Charlotte Flair is starting to make her way down to the ring, but Jade Cargill and her have a stare down. I'm talking about Jade got up in Charlotte's face, and Charlotte did the big woo in her face. I'm like, all right, well, here we go. Big tease right there, which they teased it earlier in the year, but they went straight back to it. Flair woos at her, and the referee tells Jade to go to the back. So we're gonna get, this is the women's elimination chamber qualifying match. Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Kiana James. The match was phenomenal. I just really shocked by the outcome, especially leaving Charlotte Flair out. So I don't think, yeah, I definitely expected her to be in the chamber, especially with Alexa in there. Especially if they're gonna further that feud with Charlotte and Alexa. Like now how they're gonna do it, unless Charlotte inadvertently cost Alexa or something at the chamber. So the match starts off with Charlotte and Nia having some words, and Flair hits an elbow to Kiana. Charlotte then sends Kiana into Nia for a shoulder tackle, and Nia then hits a shoulder tackle to Charlotte. Kiana then talks to Nia about strategy, and Nia says there's a deal, but that was a ruse. So Charlotte then sends Kiana James into the turnbuckles, and James hits a boot. Nia then hits pop-up headbutts to both women. Nia then hits a running hip to Kiana and Charlotte Flair. Kiana then gives Kiana the stink face, which we've seen a lot of that lately. Charlotte then, I keep saying Rick, Charlotte then hits a boot, and Nia goes into the ring post shoulder first. Kiana then kicks Charlotte in the ribs and follows it up with a punch. Kiana then sends Charlotte to the mat and hits an elbow drop for a near fall. Kiana then applies a reverse chinlock. Nia then gets on the apron and Kiana kicks her off. Kiana then hits some kicks to the ribs and she returns to the reverse chinlock. Charlotte then hits some forearms to Kiana, but Kiana hits an Irish whip. Flair then floats over and Kiana hits a back elbow. Kiana then hits some shoulders into the corner, and Nia returns to the ring. Kiana and Charlotte then hit a double thrust kick, but Nia hits a double clothesline to fire back. Nia then mocks Charlotte Flair. Nia then kicks Kiana and sets up for a double suplex, but they block it, and they hit a double suplex on Nia Jax. Kiana then gets a roll-up on Charlotte for a near fall. Kiana then hits a forearm, and Flair goes up top and hits a crossbody. Flair then hits some chops to Kiana and to Nia. Charlotte then hits a thrust kick to Nia and a walkover clothesline on Kiana James. Flair then sends James to the apron, and she chops Nia Jax. Nia then hits an Irish whip, and Flair does the Flair flip over the rope just like her dad, and she kicks Nia, but James hits a thrust kick on the apron. Nia then gives Kiana up, but Flair kicks Nia, and Nia hits a Samoan drop on Kiana James. Flair goes up top, and she hits the moonsault on both Nia Jax and Kiana James, which was phenomenal. Flair then gets a near fall on Nia. You can see the desperation look in Flair's face when they kicked out of that. Flair is caught off guard by that, but Flair counters with the Hurricane Rana. Nia then hits a Samoan drop to Charlotte, but Kiana hits a Samoan drop. She picked her up. Kiana's strong. She hits the Samoan drop to Nia for a near fall. Kiana then goes up top, but Nia rolls to the floor. Charlotte then comes and hits a big boot to Kiana James on the apron. Then they go to the turnbuckles, and Flair chops Kiana, but Kiana sets up for a Uranagi off the turnbuckles, but Charlotte countered into a Spanish fly for a near fall. Nia then trips Flair when Flair goes for the natural selection. Nia then sends Flair into the ring post and back into the ring. Kiana then hits a boot to Nia's head. Nia then goes for a shoulder but moves and she hits the ring steps. Kiana then sets up for a figure four, but Flair kicks her away. Charlotte then hits a power bomb and she applies a bridging. She hits the figure eight. Well, it's a bridging figure four, sorry. Nia then hits a leg drop to break up the hold. Nia then sets up for the Annihilator. She did go for the figure eight. Nia then sets up for the Annihilator on Kiana James and hits it, but Flair breaks up the cover. Flair and Nia then go face to face. They exchange punches and Nia hits a headbutt. So then Flair drops Nia on the top rope. Flair then goes up top, and Nia hits a forearm to stop her. Nia then goes for a Super Samoan drop of Flair, countered with a sunset flip power bomb. Flair then applies the figure eight, and out of nowhere, Kiana James goes up under, and she rolls Charlotte Flair up for the 1, 2, 3. And in my opinion, the biggest upset and the craziest, most unpredictable finish, Kiana James just stole the win and is headed to the Elimination Chamber, where she will join Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. And Kiana James is the fifth woman to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, and we will see the final member qualify Monday when Raquel Rodriguez, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane go. They're gonna have a match Monday, a triple threat match for the final spot. So Kiana James is in the chamber. So looking forward to, they're gonna push her. Looking forward to seeing what she's gonna do in the chamber. So Kiana James has qualified. So we head to the back where I'm not happy about that decision, by the way, but they are pushing a younger talent, and Charlotte put people over. So it is what it is, I guess, at this point. So we go to the back where Byron Saxton stops by to talk to Rhea and Io about Kiana qualifying. Rhea said it's so sad that Nia didn't win. She then says it's quite an upset. It was quite an upset. Io then says her partner won't be so lucky. Rhea then says she will beat Julia and Io will qualify on Monday. Byron then asks about the tag title match. Rhea says they are focused on the chamber. They're used to the pressure. Io then says Nia and Lash doesn't stand a chance. She then says may the best woman win in the Elimination Chamber. Still have a feeling that Io's gonna qualify because they have to work this Rhea Io storyline with them two being in it. Maybe they're the final two in the chamber. I think that would be great. So if you want to call this a match, they're doing this for the second time. I don't know why they keep doing this with Obafemi. They need to make up their mind what they're going to do with him, what roster he's going to be on. Like we're making our way into WrestleMania season. We're right at now it's midnight. We're a week away from Elimination Chamber, so we got to figure out where Obafemi is going to be at. All this back and forth is giving me whiplash. But we're gonna get Kit Wilson again against Obafemi. Kit makes his way down to the ring against the ruler Obafemi. The match starts off with Kit complaining about the referee ringing the bell before he's in the ring. Kit then says it seems like you have done a lot of work. Have grown. Kit then says from feminist to feminist, he wants to read him a poem. Kit then says it is called an ode to Obafemi. Oba appreciates the poem and says that is quite nice. Oba then asks Kit to read another one. Kit then says he only prepared one. Oba then tells Kit to read another one. Kit then reads some older poems. This one is 9 Things I Hate About Men. Kit then says he doesn't want to continue because it is negative about Obafemi. Oba then brings Kit into the ring, hits him with a clothesline and a running uppercut. Oba then hits another one. Kit then tries to block a kick, but Oba tosses Kit across the ring. And then Oba Femi hits a fall from Grace for the 1, 2, 3. Again, Oba Femi, a short work of Kit Wilson, and I hope we never have to see Oba Femi and Kit Wilson again. It's time to give Oba some competition. Figure out where we're going with Oba Femi for WrestleMania. Hopefully, he's going to be the one to interrupt Brock Monday. That's Triple H. I know you may be watching or looking on Twitter. Everybody wants to see that. We do not want to see Brock and LA Knight. If you want to sell tickets and you're worried about ticket sales, that's a money maker right there. Oba and Brock. So we then see Nick Aldis standing by the box, and he wants to know what is inside the crate again. Obviously, here we go with the crate. Same one from Monday. R-Truth says that that's a major award. Truth then points out that it is an Elimination Chamber award inside that box. Damn well could be. R-Truth then says he won a few of them. Nick then asks if he means a Slammy award. Nick then tells his assistant to send the box/crate back to Adam Pearce on Monday Night Raw. So crate's going back to Raw. Thought it might go to NXT, but looks like it's going back to Raw. I think this thing's going to ship back and forth between now and Elimination Chamber. Damian Priest then shows up, and Nick asks if he is ready. Truth and Priest then say they are ready. Nick then says Truth isn't in the match. Truth then demands to follow Nick back. Priest then says he appreciates the opportunity because he will take any opportunity to main event WrestleMania. So then we get ready for the next match of the night, and it's the former WWE SmackDown champion who made her return, which I'll talk about her a little bit on Scoop Sunday, but obviously Tiffany Stratton come back with a little bit different build, a little slimmer. She is actually training to go back into bodybuilding. You can tell too. She's definitely a lot more toned. So yeah, Tiffany Stratton makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night. She is going to be going up one-on-one against Alba Fire of the Secret Harvest, accompanied by Chelsea Green. So the match starts off with both women locking up, and Alba gets a takedown. Tiffany then blocks a kick. Tiffany applies a side headlock. Tiffany holds on when Alba tries to send her off the ropes. Tiffany then hits a flying Snapmare takedown, then floats over there in the corner and does it again. Alba tries to trip Tiffany, but she starts to do cartwheels, just mocking Alba Fire. Alba needs to go back to NXT. Tiffany sends Alba into the ropes, and Tiffany hits a running hip to the back, follows it up with a drop kick for a near fall. Alba then sends Tiffany to the apron, and Tiffany hits a leg sweep and a hesitation senton. Tiffany then gets a series of near falls. Alba applies a side headlock and hits a break of the eyes, and then Alba, with some offense of her own, hits a tornado DDT on Tiffany Stratton. Alba then chops Tiffany in the corner and against the ropes, and then she begins to choke out Tiffany Stratton in the corner. Tiffany, back in control, gets a roll up for a near fall, but Alba, right back at it, hits a punch, and then tries to go for a near fall. Alba begins to work on Tiffany Stratton's neck, and then hits a knee to the midsection. Alba then kicks Tiffany. She hits a knee to the back and applies a rear chin lock. So then she begins to work on Tiffany Stratton's neck again by sending Tiffany to the mat and returns to the rear chin lock. So Tiffany back in control, then hits a snapmare. Alba misses a drop kick. Tiffany then hits a back elbow, followed by a clothesline, and follows it up with a second one. Tiffany then hits a handspring back elbow into the corner. Alba fires back with a thrust kick for a near fall. Alba chops Tiffany and then goes to the turnbuckles, but Tiffany stops her in her tracks. Tiffany hits a superplex and a falcon arrow for a near fall. Tiffany then hits another cartwheel into an attempted Alabama slam. The Alba counters into a gory special for a near fall. Alba then sets up for a power bomb, but Tiffany countered into an Alabama slam. Alba then knocks Tiffany off the turnbuckles on a pretty. She went up for the prettiest moonsault, but Alba goes up and knocks her off. Where she stops the attempt at the prettiest moonsault. Alba then goes for a suicide dive, but Tiffany hits a forearm. Chelsea Green then climbs up from the wheelchair, which is great. Good to see her up. And Tiffany forces her back in. Alba then hits a suicide dive. Alba goes up top, and Tiffany gets her knees up on the swanton. Alba then gets her knees up top to stop a handspring back elbow. Tiffany then pushes Alba away. Tiffany hits a friendly slam and goes up top and hits the prettiest moonsault for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, and gotta be top 2, I would say, favorite to win the Women's Elimination Chamber this year to go on to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, Tiffany Stratton. So this was a good promo. Something I talked about on Scoops about Sami Zayn, about this whole finishing the story thing. I've been talking about it. I think I talked about it back during the Royal Rumble prediction show. I'll have to go back and watch that show. It was a big panel, but I said that they're gonna do this whole Sami Zayn. I know for a fact I did. It may have been on the Saturday Night's Main Event prediction show. I think that's how far back I talked about it. So they're going to do this whole Sami Zayn finish story type shit that they did with Cody. And this really seems like that's where they're going. This promo was pretty good. Looks like, Cody got heated, Sami got heated. Teased a little bit of Sami going heel, but I don't particularly know if that's where they're going to go. But they're definitely doing this finish the story shit with Sami. So we see Cody Rhodes walking in the back, and he stops to talk to Sami Zayn to ask how he's doing. Cody then says there has been some bad luck for Sami recently, and he has nothing to be ashamed of. Sami then says if anyone should be ashamed of themselves, it should be Cody. Sami then says he helped Cody, and Drew got involved. Sami then says you hit me with the crossroads to win the match. Sami then says you put the knife in my back. Cody says he took advantage of an opportunity. Cody then says you have to take advantage of them, and you haven't, and that's why you have never been champion. So Cody kind of stepped out of line right there. Sami then says that is why Cody is the golden boy. I mean, he's the second golden boy because I'm the golden boy. But I'll share with you, Cody. It's okay. Sami then says, you got to finish your story. There we go, finishing the story. Sami then says, no one chose him. Sami then says, he has been trying to finish his story again for 10 years. Cody then asked Sami where he was when he was in Germany and tried to do the right thing but lost the title. Cody then says, it is not him or the system. Cody then says, the only thing in your way is you. Sami then punches something, throws something off the top of the box. Obviously, then he runs back up to Cody, apologizes, says that he knows Cody's going to be WWE champion again. He hopes that he remembers him. Cody says he won't forget. So then we get a cackling coming up from behind, and it is Trick Williams and Sami again. So it does look like they are setting up something with Trick and Sami for WrestleMania, which I thought they might do Trick and Carmelo, but it really looks like they're setting up Trick and Sami for some reason. Trick then tells Sami, with friends like Cody, you don't need enemies. Trick then says he will do what Sami couldn't, and that is get the job done. After that, like I said, Sami then goes after Cody to apologize to him. He then says he is not doing great. He says what you said was right. He then says you are going to become champion again, but remember you had some help along the way. Cody then says he doesn't forget. Gives Sami a pat on his shoulder. So then we are set for the next Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Carmelo Hayes makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by Damian Priest and a huge pop for Trick Willie himself with the lemon pepper steppers, Trick Williams. So it's going to be Carmelo Hayes for Trick Williams for Damian Priest. The match starts off with Trick wanting to work with Hayes, but Hayes is every man for himself. Priest then hits a punch to Trick and a forearm to Hayes. Hayes then hits a drop kick to Priest, and Priest hits a face plant. Trick then hits a forearm to Priest's back. Trick then hits some chops, but Priest chops back. Carmelo then hits a splash to Trick. Priest starts to begin to box him. Priest then hits some elbows to Hayes and Trick. Priest then hits a kick to Carmelo and a flatliner to Trick. Priest then catches Hayes off the rope and drops him onto Trick Williams. Priest then hits a forearm and a snapmare driver to Carmelo for a near fall. Trick then flips through to avoid a chokeslam. Carmelo then hits a springboard clothesline to Trick. Priest then hits some kicks and a forearm. Carmelo then hits the La Mystica to Priest, and Priest hits a broken arrow to Carmelo for a near fall. Priest then hits some forearms to Trick. Trick drops down, and Priest tries to go for a flying shoulder tackle, but he goes over the top rope into the floor. So now we're left with Carmelo and Trick in the middle of the ring. It is a reunion. Trick then misses a bicycle kick, and Hayes gets a roll up for a near fall. Trick then gets a near fall himself. They go back and forth. They both block a kick. They both punch each other and go down. Priest then pulls up Hayes to the floor, and he hot shots Carmelo Hayes on the apron. Priest then returns to the ring, and he has a forearm to Trick, followed by another one. So then Hayes hits a double sledge to the back, followed by a chop. Hayes then punches Trick Williams from the turnbuckles. Hayes then hits a DDT to Damian Priest, and Trick sends Carmelo to the floor. Hayes then hits a springboard double DDT. Hayes then hits a flip dive onto Priest, and he drop kicks Trick into the ringside barrier. Carmelo then goes up top, and he hits a frog splash for a near fall. Damian then goes to the floor, and Hayes sets up for a dive, but Trick hits a leg lariat. Trick then looks around, and he tries to pick up Carmelo, but Bud drops him. Trick then hits a Uranagi for a near fall. So then Priest back into the control of the action, sends Carmelo onto the announce desk. Trick then hits a flapjack to Priest onto the announce desk. Carmelo escapes Trick's shoulders, and Trick hits a cyclone kick, Booker T cyclone kick for a near fall. Trick then puts Hayes on the turnbuckles. Hayes and Trick begin to exchange punches. Priest then hits a forearm to Trick's back, and he hits a razor's edge on Trick for a near fall. Carmelo then hits the nothing but net on Damian Priest, but he doesn't get the pinfall. Carmelo then hits a punch to Trick, and Trick punches back. Carmelo then hits a chop. Trick punches back again. Priest then fires back with some kicks to Carmelo, and Trick follows it up with some more kicks. This was the best match of the night. So then Carmelo gets a takedown to counter a Uranagi. Trick then gets a crucifix for a near fall. Carmelo then hits the first 48 on Trick. He goes up top. Priest then hits a forearm to Hayes off the ropes. Trick then hits the running knee to stop the razor's edge, and then Trick hits the trick shot. Jumping knee for the 1, 2, 3. So Trick Williams has qualified for the Elimination Chamber, where he will join Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, L.A. Knight. See, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, L.A. Knight, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. He is the 5th participant. The sixth qualifying match is going to see El Clasico Grande Americano on Monday versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. That will round out our 6th Elimination Chamber. So we then see the tag team division all centered around this crate, this box. Nick Aldis tells Candice LeRae he doesn't know what is in the box. Johnny Gargano is actually planked on top of this crate, so he just cannot get up. Johnny got so then Jordan Grace then shows up, and Candice tells Jordan Grace to wait her turn. Grace then tells Candice that she will have problems if she talks to her like that. Nick then says if that's how you guys are going to talk, they can have a match next week. So next week we'll see Jordan Grace one-on-one with Candice LeRae. So then we go to the back. We go to a photo shoot for Jade Cargill, and B-Fab shows up. We haven't seen B-Fab in a while. Then we see Meacham, but she'd been out of action for a little while. She shows up and she asks Jade if she forgot about injuring her. B-Fab then says it would be better if she doesn't see it coming. Meacham then says they can hurt her pride and take her title, so she doesn't even have to worry about WrestleMania. She acts like she's gonna hit her with Kendus too. So then we go down for the next match of the night. I was just reading something about Chelsea Green's injury. Julia then makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night. And she's going to go one-on-one with the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, taking Io Sky's place. As I said, it was changed right before the show. So the match starts off with both women locking up, and Rhea backs Julia into the corner. Rhea then does a clean break, but Julia pushes Rhea and yells at her. Both women lock up again, and Julia does a break, and she slaps Rhea. Rhea then blocks a tornado DDT, but Julia hits a guillotine. Rhea then puts Julia on the turnbuckles and chops Julia. Rhea then blocks another tornado DDT, and Rhea turns it into a delayed vertical suplex. Rhea then gets a near fall. Julia escapes the riptide, and Julia pulls Rhea to the mat by her hair. Julia then hits a forearm into the corner and follows it up with a missile drop kick. Julia then hits some kicks, but Rhea hits some shoulders in the corner. Rhea then misses a shoulder into the corner and hits the ring post. Julia then hits a flying boot to send Rhea into the ring steps. Julia kicked Rhea in the back, and then Julia forces Rhea to the floor. Julia then hits a chop, and she sends Rhea into the ringside barrier. Rhea then sends Julia back into the ring. Julia then puts Rhea in the ropes, and she begins to do abdominal stretch on Rhea. Julia then hits a drop kick to the back for a near fall, and then hits a curb stomp to Rhea Ripley. Everybody's using that curb stomp. Julia then applies a reverse chinlock. Rhea Ripley, she's coming to. She hits a forearm to the back, but Julia sends Rhea to the mat again. Julia kicked Rhea in the head. Rhea blocks a knee, and Rhea hits a drop kick. Rhea then hits a forearm, and Julia fires back. They go back and forth. Rhea hits a short arm clothesline and a back heel kick. Rhea then hits a face plant and a drop kick. She goes up top, but Julia stops her. Julia then sets up for a butterfly suplex, but Rhea stops her. Rhea then hits a super kick against the turnbuckle and gets a near fall. Julia then hits some elbows to block the riptide, and then Julia hits a running knee for a near fall. Rhea then blocks the Northern Lights bomb, and Rhea hits a riptide, but out comes Nia Jax to appear on the apron. And Rhea hits a drop kick to Nia, and then Lash comes in behind and hits a big boot to Rhea, and the referee calls for the bell. So the winner of the singles match due to disqualification is Rhea Ripley. And like I said, next week, WWE Women's Tag Team titles will be on the line when Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, the night before Elimination Chamber, will defend against Ibushi Bully, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. After the match, Rhea is attacked by Lash and Nia, and then Io Sky's music hit, and she comes running out, and she sends Nia to the floor, and it's a show tie on Lash. Rhea then clotheslines Lash over the top rope into the floor. Io Sky was not going to let anything happen to Rhea Ripley. So we then see Obafemi walking in the backstage area, and The Miz stops him. The Miz is always into something. He says Oba is impressive and a WrestleMania main eventer waiting to happen. Miz then says, as the locker room leader, it is up to him to get everyone ready. He then says he can show Oba the ropes. Oba then says that's so he can show him next week. So next week on SmackDown again, Obafemi is going to be in a little bit more of a competitive match, not too much, but Obafemi will be going one-on-one with The Miz next week. He then says he will talk to Nick Aldis. Miz is fine with that until he realizes that means a match. Then we go to the locker room area with Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. Flair tells Bliss she knows that she lost, but she will be fine with that. Flair then says that she is fine. And she even had like the little chain looking stuff that Alexa wears around her neck. Then they are interrupted by Kiana James and Julia then show up. Kiana asks Bliss if she will be fine without Flair in the chamber. Kiana then says she and Julia are the most powerful duo, and Alexa lets out a big, huge laugh. She then tells them to prove it. Julia then begins to get in Alexa's face and yell at her in Japanese. Kiana pulls her back and they leave. Flair then says that she's still fine, and her and Alexa walk off. Then announced that next week, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defend their tag titles against Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and Uncle Howdy faces Solo Sikoa. We'll also see Jordan Grace going up against Candice LeRae and Obafemi against The Miz. Solo then cuts a promo saying he will smash Uncle Howdy next week and it is time to go. Solo then tells Tama he wants him to know that he is proud of him. He then says Tama has never betrayed him and he will be U.S. champion. He then says he has to make sure that the Wyatts never get that lantern back. So then Shinsuke Nakamura then shows up and he asks Tama if he is proud of himself. He then asks if Tama wants to be in Solo Sikoa's shadow. He then says you are just a soldier in a war. Tama then says he is his own man. Nakamura then tells Tama to prove it. So we get to the main event of the evening. It's going to be Aleister Black, accompanied by his wife Zelina, going one-on-one with the Viper, Randy Orton. So the match starts off with both men locking up. Orton applies a side headlock and hits the shoulder tackle. Randy then poses to the crowd. Orton then twists to the mat and Black sits down in front of him, which is a pretty good moment there. This was also a really good match. I didn't like the ending, but it was a very good match. Aleister then misses a kick, and Orton hits a kick himself. Orton punches Black, and he goes to the turnbuckles. Orton then clotheslines Black over the top rope into the floor. Randy then goes to the floor, and he tries to send Black into the table, but Black blocks it. Aleister then hits some kicks, and they return to the ring. Orton then sends Black to the floor again. Orton then sets up for a backdrop driver onto the table, and he drops Black on the table. Orton then breaks the count and returns to the announce desk for one more, and he hits it. Randy then breaks the count and returns to the floor for a third one, and he hits it despite Black's attempts to stop Orton. Orton then sends Black into the ring, and he gets a near fall. Aleister then goes to the floor, and Orton follows. Aleister then punches Orton and hits a few kicks. Orton then hits a kick, and he drops Aleister Black onto the ringside barrier. Orton then sends Black back into the ring. Orton then gets a near fall. Then Orton hits a stomp, but Zelina Vega climbs up onto the apron, and Black uses distraction to hit a knee to the back and sends Orton to the floor. Aleister then hits a running kick from the apron, and he sends Orton into the ring post. Black then sends Orton back into the ring. Aleister then hits a running knee to the head and almost got it. It was a 2 3/4 right there. Black then applies a reverse chinlock. Orton fires back with some punches and a headbutt, and then goes for a suplex, but Black hits a knee to the head again. Black then hits a knee lift and a flying forearm for a near fall. Alistair applies a reverse chin lock. Randy Orton, back in control, hits her European uppercut that sends Black to the apron. Orton then goes for his infamous draping DDT off the rope, but Black stops him and he drops Orton on the top rope. Alistair then hits a back elbow and he gets a near fall. Black then kicks Orton and he applies a reverse chin lock. Orton then hits a belly to back suplex. Orton then hits 2 clotheslines and he ducks the clothesline. Orton then hits a power slam. Orton then sends Black to the apron for another one of the infamous Randy Orton Viper DDTs off the ring, up with his feet up on the ropes, and he nails it. Orton then looks around and he twists to the mat for the RKO. Orton then sets up for the RKO, but Black pushes him away and goes down and slides out to the floor. Orton then goes to the floor, but Black hits a back round kick to Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's quick to retaliate with a thumb to the eye. Orton then goes for a backdrop driver onto the announce desk, but Alistair gets on the announce desk. Orton then hits a leg sweep that drops Black onto the announce desk. Orton then hits a draping DDT off the announce desk. But out of nowhere, unexpectedly, this guy just said that everybody in the chamber's got a target on their back. Drew McIntyre appears and hits Randy Orton in the head with the title belt. Orton then rolls in the ring. Cody Rhodes then comes running down the aisleway to chase Drew McIntyre through the crowd. But back in the ring, Aleister Black hits the Black Mass for the 1, 2, 3, and a huge pinfall for Aleister Black over the Viper Randy Orton. After the match, Drew is posing in the crowd while Cody checks on Randy in the ring. Drew then kisses the belt and the show comes to a close. So like I said, I don't know where they're going with this. Obviously, I'm sure Randy's going to be able to go back and see that it wasn't Cody, but does he really know it wasn't Cody is the big question. And are we headed for a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania? Pretty good show. Obviously some unpredictability with Kiana James pinning Charlotte Flair. I felt like if Charlotte was going to be in the chamber, it made the chamber a little bit more unpredictable on the women's side now. I mean, we'll have to see who qualifies on Monday, but as of right now, it's basically a two-woman race between Rhea and Tiffany Stratton. But on the men's side, it has brought some unpredictability now, because if Randy thinks that Cody was the one that attacked him, he turned around and saw Drew, so I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. And I think a fatal 4-way is a bit much, but WWE, desperate to sell tickets, and Triple H, they may be in desperation mode. I don't know what, it just doesn't seem like anything is locked at this point right now besides Roman and Punk. So a lot of stuff is supposed to happen, but we're going to find out, at the chamber, and then, right after the chamber leading up to WrestleMania, if all this stuff actually comes into fruition. But thank you guys for tuning in to the SmackDown recap tonight. We're only a week away now from Elimination Chamber, and the next week's going to be a huge week. Obviously, this week's not over. We got Sunday Scoop coming up, but we have a big week coming up next week on the EVP show. So shout out to the 136 people that have tuned in. I haven't seen any comments. Haven't seen one from Wild Child Billy, but shout out to the 137 people that's tuned in, either on the EVP show, on my X, or on Miami's X as well. Like I said, once again, you have until February the 28th to enter this raffle by After the Sun Podcast, Classic WWF Intercontinental Championship belt. Let me take my banner off. So when I get ready to play the video and stuff. So basically, you scan the QR code and you pay the $15. And once you pay the $15, after you do that, you must give the EVP show, After the Slam podcast, and Talking About Wrestling podcast all a subscription on YouTube. You will be entered into the raffle. The raffle will end on February the 28th, with the winner being drawn on March the 1st on After the Slam podcast, the show on March the 1st. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play my outro, guys. It's late. It's already Saturday on the East Coast. I'm an hour, 10 minutes in. Long show, so I know it's going to be a longer stream. Yeah, we have five. So now, before we go, we'll do a quick rundown. We have CM Punk defending the World Championship against Finn Balor, Becky Lynch defending the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Lee. And the 5 people that we have in the men's chamber as of right now is Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. And on the ladies' side, we have Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Kiana James, with one more qualifying match each coming up on Monday Night Raw. So shout out to everyone from DWE, the CEO, the head of the table, Miami the Great, Final Boss Lady, Director Reg, World of Greg, and After the Slam podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my outro, and then I will go straight into the video from After the Slam on how to get entered into this raffle. Don't go anywhere anymore.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right, here's the video from After the Slam podcast. I took my banner down so that you guys can see the QR code.
Hey guys, it's me, Bodacious Albert from the After the Slam podcast, and today we are announcing big news. For the first time in After the Slam history, we are going to do our first raffle giveaway. After the Slam podcast and the DWE, we're giving away our first championship belt. It's easy to enter. All you gotta do is scan that QR code and pay $15 to enter the raffle. And guess what? It's simple. If every $15 you put in, it's an extra raffle and a better spot for you to win. And what am I talking about? We are giving away the classic Intercontinental Championship. This title is going to be given away to a lucky winner. All you got to do is scan that QR code and pay that $15. Imagine winning a championship belt for only $15. But there's also a catch. You need to subscribe to all of the DWE members' YouTube channels. After the Slam, Talk It Up, and the EVP Show. So get going. Get a chance to win an IC championship belt shipped straight to your door. Only $15. It's all in your hands. The funds of this contest will go on to buying a new championship belt every single month so we can do a giveaway. So don't miss it. Become the Intercontinental Champion of the IWC. For more info, look at the description below and you can see all the details there. Become the Intercontinental Champion.
All right, here it is again. $15 raffle to win a WWF Classic Intercontinental Championship. How to enter? You must subscribe to the EVP Show, After the Slam podcast, and Talk It Up Wrestling podcast. You must scan this QR code right here. Obviously, the one in the bottom right corner. Send $15 via PayPal to the After the Slam PayPal for one raffle entry. Each $15 equals one entry. The more entries, the better chance to win. The winner will be announced live on March 1st on After the Slam podcast show on March 1st. PayPal payments only. It's brought to you by After the Slam podcast and DWE. This raffle ends on February 28th, guys. So you guys have 1 week to get in this raffle. You do not want to miss out. $15 for a chance to win this classic Intercontinental Championship belt is the way to go. It is all in your hands. There again is the QR code. All right, guys. Like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Man, it was an okay show. I think that they're in desperation mode. The product's just still not, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like WrestleMania season to me yet. Maybe they'll pick back up at the Chamber and afterwards in the month of March. But they got a lot of work to do to get me like super invested. These changing stuff at the last minute just because they see shit all over on X and whatever. Like it's just getting very exhausting. Yeah, so as far as my socials, it is going across the bottom of the screen. All of my links are in my bios. You can follow me on X at EVPCJP, Instagram, same handle, all lowercase at EVPCJP. You can also follow me on TikTok. I am on TikTok at Brady BRADY DA Goat 21 at Brady the Goat 21, not THE, at Brady DA Goat 21. And last but not least, most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, go to that search bar and type in at the EVP Show. I'm 10 subscribers away from 200, which that was my goal for WrestleMania, but I think that is going to be very obtainable. Hoping to get more than 200 by WrestleMania at this point, because I'm only 10 away from 200. So, but yeah, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you're able to go back and watch this stream live on YouTube, please make sure you hit the like button. The likes and the comments helps put my stream in the algorithm, and that's what we are all trying to do here, is grow our channels and get fresh eyes and ears on the channel and the product. Once again, a special shout out to everyone, the 138 viewers that watched the SmackDown recap live tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like blow your head off, blow your ears type of show, but it was okay. Can't wait to hear some of the other content creators. Obviously, they sugarcoat a lot on their shows. I don't do that here. I think they got a lot of work to do before WrestleMania, but hopefully they can turn it around in the month of March. So as part of what I have coming up, I don't have anything on the EVP show tomorrow. I will be live on Kicking Out at 2 with Michael. I think Suds and Squared Circle Media will be on there as well, and Princess Skywalker. It will be a mental health type show, which I think is great that Michael's doing this. I think it's very important in the community, outside the community. It's very important in everyday life. So this is going to be a phenomenal show. I look forward to being on there. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central on, I believe it's Kicking Out at 2's stream. It will not be streamed on the EVP show. So I'm just going to be a guest. So looking forward to that. I don't have to run the show. I can just talk when I'm asked to talk, and that'll be it. But I will be back with you guys live here on the EVP show Sunday for episode 9 or 8. Is it 8 or 9? 8. I think it's 8 of Sunday Night Scoops at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be 5 days away at that time from Elimination Chamber, or 6 days away. So I will give you guys there's a lot of news. I'll try to get it all in the first 30 minutes. Obviously, a lot of the news has already been covered by a lot of people, but I'll just kind of reiterate what's been put out there. Then I will open up the Q&A for the last 30, 40 minutes for the people on X and YouTube. So you definitely don't want to miss out. Scoops is going to be a very big show from now all the way up until WrestleMania. So definitely tune in to episode 8 of Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP coming Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the EVP show next week. Monday, you can join me at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Raw recap, as we will be crowning the last two participants to enter the Elimination Chamber for the men's and the women's. And Liv Morgan has her announcement on who she's going to challenge at WrestleMania, along with a tribute to AJ Styles, which I'll talk about on Scoop Sunday. Tuesday night, I'm back at 4 titles on the line on NXT Tuesday, and they're on their way to Vengeance Day on March the 7th. So I'll be live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern to cover NXT Tuesday night. JC Jane defending against Sol Ruca is the big marquee matchup Tuesday night. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be joined by a plethora of content creators, a couple that are not content creators. Only one, I believe, has ever been on the EVP show before. It will be an 8-person panel at 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit the notification bell for that 7 p.m. Eastern Wednesday, an 8-person panel. We will be doing the Elimination Chamber Prediction Show at 7 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. You definitely do not want to miss that. And then Thursday night, I'm back for the episode 2 of the TNA Recap Show at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And then Friday night, I'm back for the Go Home Show of SmackDown right before Elimination Chamber at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And then Saturday, obviously, I'm going to be enjoying watching Elimination Chamber. But once it's over and the post show is over, I will be going live at 11 p.m. Eastern as we do the Elimination Chamber recap. We'll be breaking down both championship matches and both of the chamber matches. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then next Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, episode 9 of Sunday Scoops with the EVP at 6 p.m. Eastern. So big week, 7-day stream, 7 days worth of streams next week. Hope you guys set that notification bell and join me every day if you can next week. A lot of content to be pumped out next week, and the prediction show is going to be big. Another 8-person panel for the Elimination Chamber. So definitely looking forward to that. A lot of fresh faces and a lot of news. Should be interesting. A lot of fresh takes. Sure, some of us are going to have a lot of same picks on maybe the Punk match, but I think the chamber matches and maybe Becky and AJ, we may have a lot of different opinions, differences on picks on those. But we'll see. You never know. But definitely tune in. So yeah, thank you guys again. And if you guys don't catch me tomorrow, I'm kicking out at 2. I will see at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will see you guys Sunday evening, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern for episode 8 of Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP. I will see you guys then. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And I am the EVP show, Cody Rhodes. I am the only Golden Boy. And I'm also the Golden Boy of DWE. And DWE is the place to be. You guys enjoy your Saturdays. And I will see you guys back here live on the EVP show at 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday evening for Sunday Night Scoop with the EVP. Good night, everyone.